Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on We4oria's, a coffee and a concept. Today, another very different topic, campus to corporate, right? So this video would be helpful for any students who have just completed their studies and aspiring to take up a job, or anyone has been already selected to join an organization and you are in the threshold of joining an organization. So irrespective of that, this video will be helpful for you. Alright, so campus life and corporate life, two different worlds, right? Two different worlds. Now I'll give you an example to make you understand how different these two are. There are many differences, but there's one key difference. Now, take an example of these two sports, tennis and Onam boat racing. The Kerala Onam boat racing. Now, in tennis, it's an individual sport, right? So, if I am a tennis player, I have to practice well and I have to play well in the match to win the match, right? Whereas, look at the Onam boat race. It's a team activity or a team sport. So, even if there is one superstar and if there are 19 other below average sailors, now that team may not win the race. Whereas, if there are 20 above average sailors in another team, certainly the other team would win, because as a team, they would fare well. I mean, I can quote a lot of examples from cricket where the individual player scores a century but the team loses. So the point here is, in the campus life, if you study well, if you perform well in exams, you can get high marks like tennis. Whereas when you come to corporate, it's a team activity. You have to do well, at the same time the team, your team or the organization also has to do well to succeed. So the key difference is, in campus you are independent, but in corporate you will be interdependent. This is one of the key difference which you need to understand, because this, if you understand correctly, you will be able to understand many things that are happening in the organization, right? So now you are going to join an organization, and let us split this into two parts. The first is managing the transition, being a student to becoming a professional, and the second part is how to become a successful professional in your organization. So the first part, managing the transition. I think this transition starts even when you are, continuing your studies. Like for example, you need to really use the industry interfaces to maximum. Like for example, your college lectures by the industry practitioners, the industrialists, people coming from industry and talking to students, and it may be like visiting your father's company or factory. So these kind of industry interfaces has to be used effectively. Now, the second thing which you can do is networking with your alumni, right? Now, your alumni are the best source of inspiration for you, and I'm sure they will be able to give you all the information or all the guidance, because they have already moved out of college and they are already working as a professional. So go connect with them. They will give you ample information for you to, prepare yourself for the corporate life. And the third important thing is internships. Your internships or in-plant training. Now, I have seen some students, they just come, they work on their allocated projects, they give their report, they get very good conduct certificate and go back. Now, that's not the purpose of internship. Go beyond, go and visit other departments. If you are in a factory, go and visit the factory and see what the supervisors are doing. And if you are in a service industry, go and see how the service operations is working. So go beyond and explore what's happening within the organization. Don't just stick to your project. So these are certain ways in which you can prepare for the corporate life. Alright, so now the second part. Now you have landed in a job, you have joined an organization. So what should you do to become successful in your job? So in my experience, there are certain things which you can do. The first one is you need to keep your cup empty. So when I say this, don't think that you have studied a lot, you have a lot of information, so you don't have to learn anything. But actually, the actual learning begins now. So keep your cup empty. Second thing is, try to understand your culture and values of your organization. So when I say Tata or Google, the moment when I say these names, you will think about the culture and values of these organizations. So similarly, look at your organization, what are their culture, what are their values, and try to fit into that values and culture. So that is very, very important for you. Now another thing is, develop certain essential skills. For example, team player, communication skills, how to write an email, telephone etiquettes, and very importantly, how to build relationships with people, working relationships, and then personal grooming and etiquettes. So these are certain things which you need to learn and practice. Now the last point here is, and which is very important, is be patient, right? In my opinion, the first job, try to stay for at least 3 years, 3 to 5 years, so that you build your foundation. Always you learn a lot in your first job. So stay there for some time and improvise on your skills. So these are certain tips that I thought will be helpful for you to successfully transit from being a student to a professional. So until I meet you in the next episode of A Coffee and a Concept, I'm wishing you all the best. Goodbye.